Hi there, folks. Welcome back to Rich Reviews. So I know I haven't been posting anything in a while, and my latest documentary review for you guys here now. And once again, it comes from HBO Documentary Films, which has been doing wonders for the past several years. And this is certainly no exception, although this is called Baby God, and it runs a very skinny pipette, 75 minutes long. And it's from a first-time director, Hannah Olsen, who I would actually like to see what Hannah Olsen does next. And this tells the story of fertility doctor Quincy Fortier. And what exactly did Quincy Fortier do to get him a documentary feature film made about him? Well, he was a fertility doctor back in the day who happened to inseminate his own patients. As I said, this runs a pad 75 minutes long, and while I think it's a good 75 minutes because it runs fairly quickly, there's an end revelation here that I clearly saw coming, and I'll tell you what that end revelation is. This more or less follows the story of Wendy Babs, a retired police detective who was looking for something to do, and she bought a DNA ancestry kit, and this basically tells you why so many people are coming out of the woodwork these days to tell you about their DNA ancestry and how sometimes it can lead to heartbreaking revelations about your family. Perhaps it comes to uncover that, oh yes, her father that she thought she knew was her father was actually not. Her mother, like so many mothers back in the 60s, was like, yeah, she married young and she saw that all of her friends were getting pregnant. And she decided, considering that she was in Nevada, a fertility cleanse named Quincy Fortier. Now, Quincy Fortier, he died in 2006, and he died in relatively good standing, which is amazing considering that he started his practice in the 40s. So we clearly have people ranging from their early 70s to their early 30s that could easily be Fortier's children. And amazingly enough, he was only sued once. Brief occasion to hear him in voiceover. And of course, one has to wonder what Fortier might have thought if he had known that ancestry kits 23andMe would become so popular in relatively a short amount of time. Of course, we do meet a couple of other people that worked with Fortier who themselves used their own sperm to impregnate people, and quite frankly, they were like, yeah, we were thinking of the greater good more likely. You meet a couple of other children, one of whom has to tell his mother that, oh yeah, Fortier impregnated her. Considering that she's in her 90s, she's more resigned to the fact that, hey, look, this happened to me. Which, again, considering that you're in your 90s, what else is there to do? We do meet the Fortier children, and he was divorced twice. But of course, the one key revelation we do get in here is that, oh yeah, he was abusing his own children. Really, if someone told me, oh yes, you're going to be watching a documentary about a fertility doctor who impregnates people with their own sperm, I would find myself thinking, oh yeah, did he abuse his own children? Because people who do that sort of thing tend to think to themselves, okay, if I can do this, I can get away with anything. One of his children is just sort of like, yeah, I don't want to know all of this. And we do meet the one child from that sort of incestuous relationship. He lives out in Minnesota. He was conceived back in the 60s. Back how he in the 80s sort of went through the usual process of trying to figure out, okay, who am I here? I think this is a fairly fascinating documentary. And this film has no real straight answers for you. Much more in-depth documentary would probably try to really go over the gusto of what this all means. There's just a whole wealth of material from the, Mad Men looking footage to how Las Vegas, or particularly Nevada and Las Vegas back in the 60s, is not what it is like today. And so in the end, folks, what I'm going to say about Baby God, I'm going to give this, amazingly enough, a matinee rating. So folks, Baby God, have you seen this? What you think? Please put everything in the comment box here below. As always, folks, like, comment, subscribe, and enrich yourself with knowledge. I'll see you next time, folks. Yes, hooray.